Come through, queen. I wanna see ya. Come through, queen.
Hi, everyone. It's Dan.
And Brendan.
And this is Come Through, Queen. Well, Brendan, this week we are honored to be joined by the host of, I think, I'm going to just say it, the podcast of the summer.
The podcast of the summer.
Finding Fire Island.
A returning guest.
Jess Rothschild.
Guys.
Wow.
Wow, Bethenny, wow.
Wow, Bethenny, wow.
We'll get to Bethenny and Fire Island and then Bethenny and everything else later.
We sure will. But I mean,
listeners, this is going to be 4 hours on Bethenny, so just sit tight.
This is a supersized episode. Okay, we got to talk about Finding Fire Island, which I'm saying is the podcast of the summer because like it's the only podcast that I'm like downloading like for my drive.
Yeah.
As I'm waking up that day it comes out.
Yeah, we talked about it on Patreon, but I don't think we've talked about it yet on main
Oh,
show.
I've mentioned it on main show.
We've mentioned it, yeah,
but we haven't mentioned it all.
So, wow. Jess, why don't you give us like a rundown of what this podcast is and what made you do it?
Yeah, so first of all, I mean, you know I love you guys. Like, that is so sweet. Like, hearing everything you just said. Like, so, as you guys know, I've been hosting my show, Hot Takes and Deep Dives, for several years now. And I am a native New Yorker. I'm actually from Long Island. And and I'm a gay person.
Yeah.
So, when you put all those things together,
Sure.
That equates to going out to Fire Island quite a bit. And I'm also like a big Hamptons person. And it's easy, sort of.
Perfect for this week, really.
And so I've been going out to Fire Island since 2008.
Okay.
That was my very first trip out. So for like 15 years with friends. And when I got into a very long relationship, she actually hated Fire Island.
Wow.
So that's when like our life was really the Hamptons. And we had like a very sudden breakup right before COVID.
Okay.
Right.
And that was when I really started going out and doing a lot of soul searching. And while that summer of really June 2020, I was trying to still live like my Hamptons life that I had with my ex. And this is like a serious, like we were together 8.5 years. Like we actually were legally married.
Wow.
Which I don't really talk about.
Yeah.
But
Was your ex Aaron from RHONY?
I wish. No, I wish my ex was Jenna Lyons.
Yes.
No, I wish my current life was Jenna Lyons.
Yes.
Of course.
But so anyway, even before that, I was getting more entrenched in the Fire Island community, like meeting more like locals, like older people.
Sure.
I can't, maybe I'm getting off track here. The point is, I'm obsessed with Fire Island.
Yeah.
And I always have been. And in doing hot takes and deep dives, I would often ask, like, I'm sure you've listened to a lot of my stuff.
Yes.
I would always ask, like, Margaret Cho, or I may even ask Rosie, like, and I think the answer was no, she had never been there, so I cut it out.
Yes.
But if there's, like, a line to, like, a New Yorker, I will often throw it out to, like, a Fire Island or a province town.
That's one thing I like about your podcast is you have your specific lines that you throw out. It's Fire Island, Provincetown, Madonna, Rosie O'Donnell,
The L word. The L word.
Yeah, the L word, yeah.
Yes, those are the common threads that I will pull on. And so anyway, I really just I could never find a piece of media that truly satisfied like the itch that I had about Fire Island. There are very few documentaries made. One of them you literally can't even find. It's called Where Ocean Meets Sky.
Okay.
It's unfindable.
Sure.
It's like the guy who made it lost the rights to it. Seriously.
Wow.
And there's maybe like a few books written about Fire Island. And then, of course, there's a Fire Island movie, which is great and I loved, but you would never know that there's any history.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's a fictionalized story, and like they got great exterior shots, recreated interior locations.
But it very much takes place in the moment of that weekend, and you don't get the backstories and all that.
So what I wanted to do was take that, but then marry it to all the history, like me knowing all of the rich history. Yeah. And then also in the process of a lot of this stuff I didn't know. Like I knew that there were areas to dig into, but there are certain nuances that I would not know unless like truly talking to the people who've been there since the 50s.
So leading up to recording tonight, we were chatting how both Brendan and I think this week's episode that just dropped, episode 5...
About the Pines invasion.
The invasion.
The invasion of the Pines. Yeah.
Is maybe both of our favorite episodes.
Tell me why.
Okay, the fact that you have... And I going into the podcast, I didn't know who these people were. You introduced us to them earlier. Rose and Dandy. Pansy.
But also, I think that's my fault because my friend was like, Hansy. I'm like, it's Pansy. Is that my fault for not enunciating?
No. Like, I'm just like, Pansy and Dandy feel like two like words that are hop, skip, and a jump from each other.
Well, I mean, like, those are things you call gay people.
Yeah. So, like, you introduced us to these characters early, and I was like even impressed for you to be interviewing them to begin with. But then to come to learn that like so I know very like vaguely about the invasion. I've never been to Fire Island, but I know like the big bullet points that I know about the invasion. To have like the two people that started it, 50 years ago is like...
Rose is 90, right?
Rose is 90.
Yes.
Yeah.
Still performing.
And I just want to add to like those two characters beyond like hearing about them telling us about the invasion as the creators.
People might know the invasion is the annual July 4th event.
Yeah. Where they everyone dresses in drag, comes, invades from Cherry Grove to the Pines.
Now it's full ferries.
Yeah.
But in 1976, it was one of those small little, it was 9 people.
It was a water taxi.
Yeah.
And they did it every year. It was just, I mean, you heard it in the episode, how like it was because of it. There was an inciting incident.
Yes.
A person, the people don't know when you're looking on Instagram, would you ever think, like the Pines like looks like a gay Fantasia free-for-all.
Right.
Okay.
Would you ever think that this was a closeted place?
No.
Yeah.
I think that's the most shocking takeaway.
Yeah.
I think that these Pines boys need to like learn the history.
Yeah, and especially like given that this was 1976, I mean like that's post Stonewall, and even like reading literature from that era, like that time, you wouldn't realize it was as closeted as it was. Obviously, off the island was very closeted, but you wouldn't expect in the Pines it was like that at that point.
It's because the owner was a closeted.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's described as like a very picky gay.
Yeah.
But the fact that they are alive to tell the story, which there's not many people from their generation alive to tell any story, is just like amazing to listen to.
Yeah, I think that was really powerful. And just the history of the entire thing is powerful. And then just even hearing the story about the invasion from the older lesbian in Cherry Grove.
She closes.
Yeah, that was interesting just to have that perspective. Also, I think it's interesting to have you as a gay woman telling these stories, because especially the Fire Island Pines stories, because I know you spend a lot of time there, but everyone associates that space. Less so now. I think I was even with friends the other day who were saying like it feels different in even the past couple years than it did. But it's usually associated with like cis gay men, a lot of white cis gay men. So to hear this entire journey from your perspective is very interesting as well. It's
one of, I think, when I was waffling, when we went to dinner, like early with the three of us, I don't know if I had started it or maybe I'd committed to doing it, but I hadn't yet started the interviews.
You were telling us about it, but we were talking offline. I was so surprised that it dropped so quickly, because when you were telling us about it, it felt like more of an idea. Yeah. So it seemed to have come around like really quickly.
I had the outline, like the episode outline, but I hadn't yet started recording. But this is what I'm going to say about, yes, you're right. The Pines does have, listen, on paper, it is relentlessly male.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. But this is, like, in doing this, I did realize, like, this is one of the very few pieces of media about Fire Island from the perspective of a woman.
Yeah.
A gay woman, just a woman in general.
Yeah.
And so.
So obviously you also have hot takes and deep dives with an extended interview with DJ Lena Bradford, which is amazing. explain to everyone, for those who have not listened to Hot Takes and Deep Dives, like what
what
goes on over there? Yeah.
Oh, Hot Takes and Deep Dives. Yeah, it's basically like gay pop iconography and New York City culture.
Yeah.
And it's just everyone that like people like you know, our generation, you know, a lot of real worlders.
Sure.
I have interviewed housewives. Like, listen, I started podcasting like in the Bravo space, and then Hot Takes was sort of born out of that.
Yep.
And
you did Jill fairly recently, didn't you?
Oh my God.
And the Countess fairly recently as well.
I pitched Jill the most ridiculous. Because I knew I had to pitch her like a concept, and I'm like, I want to do dating advice, but it's going to be like gay dating advice.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So she invoked AIDS, like an HIV in one, like, I'm like, nobody brought that up.
Yeah.
It's also wild. Jill recently was in Fire Island Pines doing John Hill's show, like his show about porn.
I know.
Yeah. Wow. I love it. While we're mentally out in Long Island, you're bringing to the table some SummerHouse filming news.
Yes.
Tell us.
A couple of things I want to just point out to you. First of all, it was your very own Amanda Petula's birthday.
Oh, of course I know that.
Did you notice that Hubhouse and Carlito both acknowledged the birthday?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Instagram stories, yeah.
Where were Paige and Sierra?
I did not notice anything from them, so I wonder, our alliance is shifting.
I think there's no way. Let me say it this way. There's a 100% chance that Kyle and Amanda will be at the wedding.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you go from being the officiant to not inviting the people that you officiated for? That would be a little crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't notice the Paige and Sierra stuff, but we were smiling from ear to ear that Hubhouse acknowledged.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, with Paige, it's hard because like I feel like her Instagram presence is so business minded these days that like not sure I like put too much stock in like one way or the other.
A lot of Amazon Live or Giggly Squad.
Like we got to focus on like how like on top of like Amazon Live, Giggly Squad also do birthdays. Like she might just be like giving Amanda a hug instead, you know?
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Do we know anything about, I've been following, don't ask me why. I cannot defend this in any way.
Yeah.
But I do follow Corey Kiefer.
Oh.
I don't know why. I don't know why. He has not been in the Hamptons.
No. So he and Sam are like not part of cast, like maybe friend of.
Sam was definitely demoted. Rumor is Sam is friend of, and rumor is like people are implying that because of Corey's online activity, Bravo doesn't really want to deal with that.
Yeah.
I think they're both main on Winter House, so they're
Which
about
is
to
wild.
they're about to do a whole promotional round.
Oh yeah, because we have a winter in the can.
Yeah, winter's coming.
Yeah,
winter is coming.
Wow. Okay, yeah. No, I am glad. I really haven't dived deep into this, but it seems like we evened out the like men woman like ratio this summer, which I thought last year was like very striking. So I think that might be a turn in the positive direction.
Yeah, I saw photos of the two men who are allegedly joining. They look like doofuses, but like that's what we need.
That's what we need. We need doofuses. Okay. And from the Garden State, New Jersey.
Yeah, tell us.
Tell us what's going on.
Okay, so has it been like officially announced that they're all back?
Yes,
Yeah.
all back.
Okay, so the tea I know like firsthand. Like this is like a breath away.
Okay, a breath
from
away.
production and such. The production company wanted to fire 4 of the women.
4? You might as well do a reboot.
Do we know which 4?
I didn't follow up with that.
Okay.
But Bravo said no, we're priding Jersey on not changing the cast ever.
Okay.
Like that's why Dolores has been there for 100 years.
Yeah.
And so all of the women had their network meetings this week.
Wait, we haven't started filming yet?
No. They're starting filming on Monday.
Oh, you're right.
Or they go into They're starting filming next week.
Yeah.
But that may just
Early
be like
August.
pre-production. Yeah. I don't know when the women start, but I know that production starts next week.
No, I remember reading early August was when production was starting. Yes.
Because we wanted them to do the holidays.
Yeah. I don't like this whole half, like to start in August feels.
It's like, what, back to school?
Back to school? Yeah. Like let's start after Labor Day, like Labor Day into Thanksgiving maybe. I would like that.
So apparently what was told to the women was, if you want to, said we want to keep you for the next like 2 to 3 years, keep it light, like keep it fun. Mm-hmm. We're going to do 2 to 3 more years with you. And then I think the plan, they're never getting rid of Teresa. The way the Teresa and Melissa story is going to end is they will eventually reboot it.
Yeah.
Same with like OC and like all of them.
Sure.
But that's the way that's Bravo's plan, is to stick with this cast for the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. I mean, it is a little bit of like studying capitalism in terms of like their paychecks keep growing, but the ratings are not growing. So like you need to kind of
to even things out.
You need to recast in order to like keep the show going, really.
Well, it's not necessarily that they don't naturally, like Vanderpump Rules. Do you know last year Vanderpump Rules, you know, they got paid like, they took a pay cut.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because they were told this is your last season.
Sure.
Before everything happened.
Yeah.
And they took a severe pay cut.
Yeah.
And then.
Sure.
It's the fame versus money conversation. And like some of these people, it's their main source of income.
Yeah.
Most of them, I guess. But it's like.
But also they make it up in
other things.
Brand deals and
ads.
ads.
And that's where the fame adds the money, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Jersey. Love it. Okay.
The main events. Actually, we've got 2 main events in the news.
We got 2 main events in the news. One's a continuation from last week, which I was so high on the Bethenny. Is that their portmanteau or whatever it's called?
That's their ship name.
Yeah, their ship name. Yes. The Bethenny reunion. So last week we talked about Jill and Bethenny's podcast episode where they hashed it out. Mm-hmm. And little did we know how much more content would be on the horizon.
Oh, the way Bethenny has milked 5 podcast episodes, multiple YouTube videos out of this, it's wild.
Yeah. So, did everyone listen to the Bethenny and Jill RHONY recap of episode 1?
I've listened to everything.
You've listened
to
everything.
too, yeah.
And I've watched. No, here's the question.
Okay.
Have you guys watched Jill watching the YouTube video?
No.
Turning to Allie and mouthing, I love it.
Oh my God. This is so sick.
It's in an Instagram story. You have to watch it.
Oh my God. I have to find that.
She looks, it's like you would think Allie, you would think she just became a grandmother.
It's wild because like the very beginning of that YouTube video, like Bethany's like kind of mean about her.
Oh, very mean, manic, disheveled. And then I gotta say, Jill saunters in getting changed into that dress. Mm-hmm. And I don't think she needed to change. I thought she looked like
she looked amazing.
Fresh face, fun.
But Bethenny, it's Bethany's fault because Bethenny kept on calling it a sweatsuit. And Bethenny was being a bee about it.
She was putting the bee in Bethenny, yeah. Okay, the RHONY recap gave me an actual headache that lasted 3 hours.
Oh my God.
Like listening to the two of them talk about this, and like I thought they would have something interesting and poignant to say, especially maybe because I had them on such a high horse after like getting into it between the two of them, and then I realized that's not the case.
I think that if Jill had done it with someone else, it would have been nicer and she would have had more insightful things to say. I think Jill I thought came across great in the first interview that they did. The
one-on-one about our lives.
Yes.
Yeah. I crashed a funeral.
But I think Jill, while sitting there, drank the Kool-Aid / Bethenny Diet Coke and wanted to be yes-anding with Bethenny.
Okay, yeah.
I think I disagree with you guys.
Oh. Okay.
I much preferred the RHONY recap to them. I didn't learn anything new in the first episode.
Okay.
With the RHONY recap, I was glued.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was glued. My ears were glued.
So were you agreeing with their
It wasn't that I
POV?
was agreeing. I just found it all interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
I found that it was I thought it was interesting. I don't agree with whatever they, but like, Bethenny, of course, saying that she was the first person to bring the production to catch.
Okay.
Like, I enjoyed hearing that.
Sure.
I enjoyed her saying, oh, they bleeped it out too many times. Just her take on production,
Okay.
I found
Yeah.
interesting. I loved her sort of shading Jenna Lyons. Like,
Yeah.
I just found it all interesting.
What did she say about Jenna again?
That she got the vibe that Jenna was embarrassed to be there.
Yeah, which I think like is maybe half right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually thought like to your point, Brendan, like Jill's perspective of like knowing that this was not the first footage they shot was helpful for her to know. But then her insistence that like we needed episode 1 and 2 and like she's calling this episode 3, I was like, actually, I think they lucked out by this being episode 1 because we're kind of just like jumping into it a little bit.
I think from her perspective, a housewife perspective, they always love to see like the moments with their families where they're being introduced,
So
like their
ridiculous.
lives. And that's, I mean, of course, I like to see that stuff too, to an extent, but we don't need the grand introduction where we're getting like a 8-minute package of just Jill and Allie and Jill like looking
Gloria,
through
Bobby,
yeah,
like-
Jill looking through her mail, which literally was her first scene on Housewives where she was like showing the invitations.
Yeah. I mean, they were acknowledging that it has changed, but like, while some of it has not changed for the better, I think some of it has changed for the better. Like the first seasons of so many of these
They're
Housewives
kind of unwatchable.
are tough to watch. Like
They're slow.
until Beverly Hills, like it's hard to recommend unless you're like a completionist.
Oh,
So-
I would argue Atlanta. The first
Oh,
episode
you're right,
is the Sheree Nene moment.
You're right. Atlanta is an exception to that rule. I think the other, like, well, Jersey too is also. OC and New York are both tough for seasons. Yeah.
Do you think? I think it would be smart of Bethenny to have she and Jill recap
Oh,
the whole season.
yeah.
I think Bethany's gonna do something where she drags Jill along, and I worry because Jill is going to get invested and think that they're best friends again,
And then get burnt again.
Get burnt.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Bethenny has friends.
Yeah. Bethany just wants to do it for the attention that she is getting from doing it. She doesn't want to do it like because she cares about Jill.
Did you guys happen to see that Bethenny was in Atlanta for work this week?
Oh.
Do we think there's a Bethenny interviewing Nene sitch?
Oh, for a second, my first thought was, is Bethenny getting a CNN show?
But I don't know that she would fly. They could just do that remote.
But I don't think she would want to do it remote. The way that, like,
Especially after like this.
Oh, because
Especially-
now you can milk the YouTube.
yeah, and like her whole thing was like making her house like nice and making that green
I
room.
could be totally wrong about that, but she was in Atlanta for work. TBD what that means.
Is that when she was fucking eating the crab legs
Yes.
in her hotel room?
Yes.
like a maniac.
Also, okay, so this has brought up a conversation where we know that Bethenny is not allergic to shellfish. But I do want to say in this YouTube video, she mentions that she got the tuna sandwich when they got the sandwiches.
Wow. I always called bullshit on this like fish thing. As a proud allergic person,
Wait, what are you allergic to?
cheese, real bad. Yeah, like anaphylactic, throat closing. I know, like as an Italian, it's tough stuff for me to be allergic to cheese, but we carry on. But like it's a little too like willy nilly. Like I got these sushi platters. Like I would not be fucking with
If
that.
I were allergic to any sort of fish, like whether it be seafood or I would just stay away.
Yeah.
That's why I don't understand, and I hate to like be a conspiracy theorist about an allergy, even though I was for 7 years with Dan.
Until you saw it in person.
Until I saw it in person. But yeah, makes you think.
Yeah, well, I mean, some people I think like it, like either like to pretend for attention, or some people if they don't like a food, will say they're allergic to it. Cause then the response from from wait staff should be like, oh, well then I will make sure you do not have it. But it's like, but then if everyone is saying that, then wait staff is like, oh, well, then who's allergic to anything? Like,
But she had an allergic reaction on the show, remember?
Yeah, but was that an allergic reaction?
But it could have been like a specific type of fish that's not just all... Because like tuna is not shellfish.
Yeah, there's no shell around that tuna.
I don't know.
Okay. Do we want to talk about the unionizing thing?
Wait, can I just bring back the crab boil?
Oh, yeah, please.
Yeah.
What's more, okay, in the galaxy of insane things we've seen Bethenny document herself doing, I've always put documenting Cookie's death on Snapchat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I remember where I was.
Okay, yes.
Watching that.
I remember where I was too.
Yeah.
I was in a car in the Hamptons. It was like the summer of whatever.
Yeah.
And I remember where I was watching that live.
Yeah. What's up there?
What is more? I still think the death of Cookie probably this crab oil thing is right below that.
I think Hello Kitty pajamas is in the pantheon of that as well.
think of what it takes to do like this crab boil moment. It's like okay, so first of all, think she's staying at a hotel. When I'm in a hotel, I want to get like an easy thing that's not gonna make my experience in the hotel miserable where I'm smelling it the rest of the day.
Well, you could always take the trash out.
Okay, but fish. We had this argument about fish recently too. Wow. No, but then you're bringing these bags into your hotel room. Where are you eating them? I guess on the desk?
Well, no, but you famously, so Brendan loves, if he's like staying in a hotel, to get like the double room and have his eating bed and sleeping bed.
Wait.
I'm going to throw up.
No, this is different. Okay, this is different.
Was Bethenny on the eating bed?
But like,
that's the question you should ask
But like,
yourself.
also, it's different than eating like a chicken finger on the eating bed than a crab boil. Bags of claws.
Slobbering all over herself.
Usually, like when you do this, you go
If
to
you're
like
wearing a bib, it's gone too far.
Usually you go to this, you do this, you are wearing a bib at a restaurant. Over newspaper. Like you go to like someplace like the local place here is like the Shaking Crab. I'm always seeing people with these bags outside of there.
Oh my God.
But
Oh my God, we should go to Brooklyn Crab.
I love Brooklyn Crab. Oh my God, one of my favorites.
It's a date. Anyways, what else did you have to say about the clam boil?
Oh, okay.
No, I was just where it ranks.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Like, do you guys remember watching Cookie?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, of
R.I.P.
course.
R.I.P.
We might have been together actually, or at least together that day.
Ooh, yeah. Was it the middle of the night though? Like was she?
It was late. It was like a 9 o'clock.
Then we were together the next day talking about it.
Talking about it. Yeah. Like videos were still up, and we were like replaying it. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's briefly touch on Bethenny wanting to unionize.
Oh my God.
Well, so I mean, she's making a very valid argument.
Of
that,
course.
Like, I was paid $7,250 for my first season, and you guys re-air it around the clock, and I don't get a dime from that, and everyone gets taken advantage of, and I was one of the few people to like break the mold and start a business and become successful. But then I don't know if you guys saw this. There was something this week, like someone revealed like a proposed contract or like for like a show she was producing, and it was like insane terms.
Oh my God.
So it was like, oh, you've actually been on both sides of this, really.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's also like, I think this is a conversation we should be having.
Oh yeah, of course.
But it's also, the timing is like sus as far as like when she wants to have it.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, she wants to have this conversation because we are all talking about striking.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe the word isn't sus for me, but it's like she's
opportunistic.
like she wants to be Fran Drescher, basically.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, oh yeah, she wants to be the Fran Drescher of
Yeah.
the reality guild.
And maybe, I'm not saying she should be. Maybe she hands it off to somebody else in the space.
Garcelle,
Yeah.
like an actress who is now a reality star.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
That'd be perfect.
Or I loved when the old SAG-AFTRA person was Gabrielle, what's her name? From
Cartieris or something?
Who played Andrea on 90210.
Andrea Zuckerman.
Yeah.
So like maybe we get someone from old school Real World to be the reality union head. Genesis.
Danny Roberts.
Danny Roberts.
Wow.
And you can make that happen.
You can make that happen. Okay. We talked about Jill and Bethenny, the podcast sensation.
The other blockbuster moment.
The other blockbuster moment that was and like I think properly teased. Like Carlos King prepared us for Nene's arrival.
Yes.
And we have 2 parts. As of recording, only part 1 is dropped. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if part 2 is dropping like Friday or Tuesday of next week.
I think it's Tuesday.
Okay, so you might have like more time to catch up before part 2 drops. I have been down on Nene for years. Since she like came back a famous woman in Hollywood.
After Ryan Murphy.
Ryan Murphy ruined her for Atlanta. So I've been down on her since then. This was like the most I've liked her since pre-Ryan Murphy.
Right. Invoking Ryan Murphy a lot.
Yeah.
There were a lot of interesting tidbits that came out of it.
Yeah.
I think it was interesting hearing about Cynthia and how Nene claims that Cynthia, and I haven't listened to the 2 T's where Cynthia responds, so so we're not doing our complete homework yet, but I think that actually dropped when we were having dinner, so it's like we were already talking.
I saw the notification pop up on I'm like, oh, your 2 T's is here.
But yeah, she claims that Cynthia had an alliance with production against Nene.
Yeah.
Which to me seems wild. She had a lot to say about Kenya too.
Yeah. There seemed to be more respect for Kenya than I would have imagined. Would you say that or no?
Yeah, I think she was saying that she was annoyed by Kenya when she came in, but Kenya is now needed or necessary for the show.
So I think she pivoted once Carlos King said Portia and Kenya revitalized the show. Up until that point, she was like down on Kenya. And then once he said that, she was just like, okay, forget it. Like, okay, I respect Kenya, like blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
She came off really funny. Mm-hmm. And there was like a similar delusion to her as to Bethenny and Jill of like not liking all these like iconic moments that occurred where it's like, no, I know you didn't like it like from your point of view, but it's good that happened. Mm-hmm. The Sheree not on the list thing, even though she like says that put it on the map, like she's saying like, oh, she shouldn't have done that. It's like, no, she should have done that.
Yeah.
That's where we're at today because of that.
Yeah. I mean, Sheree was the first housewife producer.
Like she's complaining about twirl, like when Kenya went on her twirl
and it's like
tirade.
What, are you kidding me?
Yeah, like these are like just because it wasn't your thing doesn't mean it's not a moment.
Yeah, I think she does still have like obviously, and she has a deserved pretty like big head from being like the most like gifted and memed housewife of all time.
Yeah, it does. She didn't like outwardly say it, but it felt like the money could be an issue.
Yeah. Well, what has she been doing aside from literally like Lenithia Lounge, which...
Well, also...
I would think the issue is like, isn't she completely broken with Andy?
Oh, well...
There's no repairing that relationship,
well,
is there?
I think... I don't know if we ever got resolution to her lawsuit against the network and Andy.
Mm-hmm. They teased that conversation for the second episode of this series.
Yeah. So I think... as much as she might be trying to like have this revival tour, like I don't think it will be with Bravo. And it's hard to imagine after suing a network and a producer and this, like who wants to work with you after you do that?
Yeah, I mean, like I could see potentially Carlos doing something with her. Is he still working on those shows on OWN?
The
Love and Marriage.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense for her to be doing this podcast with him because, like, if he's still producing, it's someone that she could potentially work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we, speaking of Atlanta, go into Atlanta?
Sure.
We're still in Portugal.
We're in Portugal. We're crying about the 100,000, not 100.
It's 1,000.
You would think it's $100,000. Drew is being sued for $1,000.
What is like, Jess, think about that. And think about, I'm not somebody with like any money. And I'm like, I'll just pay it and go.
Well, because here's the thing. The lawyer will cost more than $1,000.
Of course.
Yeah.
So why would you hire a lawyer? But okay, so Drew's saying like, we've already given this woman money, and now she's suing me for. So it's like, when does it stop? Like she thinks she needs to fight it out in order to.
And to the other woman's credit, I will say they're like, Kenya's like, let's just make it go away, and they're like willing to like help her like make it go away.
There's 8 of us here. $1,000 divided by 8 is like $15 each.
Yeah, it's wild. But then it comes out that there's more, and this is where we're like starting to get into her husband's like infidelity again, allegedly.
Yeah,
that we're gonna hear about, and then it's not even getting into like her stuff yet.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. Like so Drew's crying and doing all this, and Candy's like, and scene, and meanwhile, like Candy is hiring her to be an actress in Todd's film. So it's kind of like, yeah, you want the actress, right?
Yeah. But it's like Candy's just so over this show at this point, which is why like Atlanta's in such like a weird
disarray.
Place. It's like Candy's over it. Kenya's half in, half out.
Yeah.
Sheree's doing whatever.
I don't think Sheree is like still good for the show.
Unfortunately. And she was always one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Candy was good on Watch What Happens Live with
Erin.
Yeah,
I did not watch that yet. How did that go?
It was good. I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah. And she was being like fun with Erin, I feel.
She clearly had not seen the RHONY premiere.
None of these women watch the other franchises. Yeah.
Except there are like a few fans here and there. I feel like.
But it's more like the Vanderpumps and if the kids watch the adult shows.
Oh, yes. Well, the kids watch the adult shows on the actual show itself. Like we've seen Beverly Hills on a TV.
And we've seen your Amanda Batula watching Housewives.
Yes, yeah.
I think Batula was watching OC.
Batula's watching OC.
And Lala was watching Beverly Hills.
Oh my God, I love it. Okay, so Kenya falls, like slips on the wet exit to the hotel.
Yeah.
Rush to the hospital. Mind you, we've just been to the hospital with Kenya like 5 episodes ago.
Yeah, and Candy goes with her. So we're actually like losing our 2 headlining stars for a lot of this episode.
So Candy's sick for the first day of Portugal and has to go to the hospital with Kenya for day 2.
Yeah.
Now I gotta say, Marlo's comment about Candy going to the hospital with Kenya was so funny to me because like they were there for 8 hours. When Marlo says, Candy needs to know someone. Like, this is where you need to be worldwide. Candy's just blending into the background.
Wasn't Moneta like, don't they have like a VIP line?
Oh my God, yeah. Moneta's like, you need to go up there and be like, we have a VIP here at the hospital.
And that's actually like, if you think about like Moneta last week revealed that she like owns an orphanage. That's kind of disturbing if you put those 2 things next to each other.
We need the VIPs need to be taken care of. I like that. I mean, this was in the preview, but the Rabbits BBL was fun for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. They use that like fake Moneta Sonja thing for the preview before the commercial break.
Oh, they did a fake. They went to a painting pottery class thing.
Yeah.
Which is like a paint and sip that you can do anywhere in the US.
Yeah.
I'm sure it had more meaning, and I'm probably like being an asshole here.
Yeah.
But and then they like pretended to get into like a fake fight. They were like commenting on how when Candy and Kenya are away, we all get along, and then they like staged a fake fight, and then they tried to like bait us in the preview into thinking that it was going to be a real fight, and it just was.
Yeah, they were just acting. Yeah. Courtney's little sit down with Drew, I think it was, when she's like, karma came for Kenya. Like, this is what happens when you act like this, and Drew being like, I gotta get out of here.
I think the one like actual notable thing that might make the rest of this season interesting is that at the end of the episode, when official Bravo cameras go down
at 11:47,
then which like keep them up, and we have Marlo iPhone footage, and it is Candy arguing with Drew about what went down in the Bolo house 2 seasons ago.
this is the one part of the episode I saw.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Candy's matter-of-factly saying that Drew made out with LaToya, who's no longer on the show.
Yes.
And Drew's denying it. And it's like, at this point...
Marlo saying 80% I did see them kiss. And the 20% just being like, Drew's confusing me.
No, but I think that's propelling us into the rest of the season where in the previews we get this whole storyline where Drew, I think is it on the set of the movie where she meets this person?
I don't know.
Because she plays like a queer woman in this movie, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Is that where that footage is from? Yeah, from the movie.
I think it might be the co-star.
Okay. We also have present day. They're filming the reunion as we record this.
Yeah.
Which normally I care about seating, but like I truly like it doesn't matter. Like
I mean, obviously Drew's in the chair next to Andy, which means that they're banking on the last half of the season being like the stuff that people are going to be talking about.
Is it even half, like last third of the season?
Last third of the season, yeah.
I hope. But then like Sheree getting prime real estate next to Andy?
It's like they don't know who to put where because there's nothing happening.
Yeah.
It's sad how the mighty have fallen. Should we move on to New York, New York?
New York, the New York.
Okay, so while we have you here, Jess, and I know you've told this story, but I want you just to give a little brief, brief synopsis on the Jenna Lyons casting and like kind of.
I told it here.
I know you did, but like just a reminder, that like. You and some of your friends kind of put...
She would not be on RHONY if I was not alive.
Yes. Yeah.
That is the bottom line.
Okay. Yeah. So y'all can go back to the episode where Jess co-hosted with me to learn the full story of that moment.
But Jess had a hand in it.
Yes.
And so we have you to thank, really, because I do think...
It was a collaborative effort between myself, one of my best friends, Carolyn, who hosts, well, the podcast doesn't exist anymore, but it was called Diking Out.
Yeah.
And she got Jenna to do a live Diking Out. This was like last winter. And I was there, and it was right after my interview with Luann, where I got Luann agreeing that there should be a lesbian housewife.
Yeah.
And I was saying like a lesbian or like a trans housewife. This was before they announced the split, like the RHONY split in Legacy. And later that week, was just like days later, we were, hanging out, doing the thing with Jenna Lyons. Well, they were hosting it, but like I, was with Jenna, we were all talking to her. And my friend, she was saying she wanted to do, they were talking about Stylish with Jenna Lyons.
Yes.
And which, as I call it, is the rich man's Big Shot with Bethenny.
Of course.
Neither show can be found any longer.
Yeah.
So anyway, so Jenna said she wanted to do a reality version of the L Word. And I think it may have even been in that moment that my friend kind of like threw to me and said like, well, do you watch The Real Housewives of New York? She was like, yeah. She said, well, my friend interviewed Countess Luann, and Countess Luann said that she would love to have a lesbian. She's like, I'm down.
Wow.
That was, I'm putting the pieces back together.
Yeah.
And so then, like, they went on a show, this guy, Eric Williams, who was wonderful, and they talked more about it. And then when they announced the RHONY split, I had my friends who did that, who hosted that live show on, and we recapped everything, and I put that clip on YouTube with like the headline was like Jenna Lyons wants to join RHONY, and that made the round.
What was interesting was that the rumored cast of RHONY was essentially all the women who ended up on the cast, but Jenna was not on the list of the rumored, and then like was announced at BravoCon.
Listen to me. When my friend is close with her former assistant and also her makeup art. They text.
Sure. Okay.
We had no idea.
Yeah.
When she came out at BravoCon or whatever it was announced, we didn't watch it live. Whenever that happened, there was an emergency.
Yeah. There was an
like
emergency.
it was like everything stopped.
Yeah. I remember where I was. I was
at dinner.
And I was gonna be going to the last Watch What Happens Live that was taped the same night. And I was like, I couldn't talk about anything else at dinner. I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Weren't you talking to like bartenders about it?
Was I?
I remember listening
oh,
to
no,
you guys
yeah,
say
no.
that you were like talking
the waiter,
to just like anybody. Waiters.
No, the waiter. I was like,
listen.
Do you know Jenna
care
Lyons?
about this?
Wow.
So that's the backstory.
Okay.
But now we're here.
But now we're here, and we're heading to the Hamptons. A hop, skip, and a jump from Fire Island.
It's true.
Yeah.
Actually, pro tip. The best, if you're into, I mean, it's the rare person that wants the Fire Island and the Hamptons experience, but that person, I do enjoy that. Yeah. It's the best way to break up the drive.
Now, is that because
it's on the way. Fire Island is closer.
Yes, right.
But if you don't want to drive, it depends where you are out in the Hamptons.
Okay.
But like if you're coming all the way, it's a way to get a lot of different experiences.
Okay, so from where you would drive to Fire Island to the Hamptons, like how long is that part of the drive?
Which part of the Hamptons?
Like Sag Harbor, where they are.
Oh yeah, Sag Harbor.
That's like it's like an hour without traffic.
That's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So, do I need to bring 8 bags
for 3
Fire
nights?
Island? No.
To Fire Island, yes. To the Hamptons, no.
Okay.
This for
no, I'm
me,
kidding. Of course, it's all
with Sai was so performative, and it's like we're still early on in her tenure, where it's like
I have so much to say.
Okay, go.
I think I like started it last week, and now like the fact that we're getting even deeper into it now is like really, really scratching the itch for me. I feel like if you follow her, doesn't this like destroy the fantasy?
Right.
Like, isn't it like I'm following you and like look at your beautiful like chic life.
I'm a mom,
and it's literally I'm doing this. I'm able to do this because I'm doing it because I'm getting like the free clothes that I'm being loaned, and I'm like putting together all this, but like. It's all just to make content.
Right. So you're saying that like people who give her the free clothes and stuff like this won't necessarily want to see like how the sausage is made. So they're not going to want to see the garment bags be put into the car and all that.
Am I crazy to think that? Well,
I don't know.
I just don't I really do not understand the mentality of like following an influencer.
I don't understand that either.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like, what am I getting out of that? To like be cool like you?
But I don't understand why somebody would follow Paige DeSorbo either.
Okay. I mean, I follow. So I mean, I'll admit, a lot of times I'm like tap because like I don't care about like tapping through the stories. Yeah, not tapping like hearts.
I'm like, you're hearting.
No. I'm not hearting anything.
No, if it's Allison Roman, he's hearting everything.
Well,
tagging her every other day.
Oh my god. Well, if anyone's influencing me,
well, no, but that's interesting. There's also different kinds of influencers. So it's like like Sai's like a fashion / mom influencer, but Paige is like an influencer who's like doing fashion, but also has a podcast.
Okay.
Allison's an influencer who is a chef.
Food.
Yeah, food. Yeah.
yeah. But like I at least like get a meal out of this.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let me ask you guys this question. As compared to the premiere, which did you prefer, the premiere or this?
The premiere, I think I was like just trying to be positive, but I was enjoying it. But but this like actually set me to the moon.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
I was neither here nor there with the premiere. It wasn't good and it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It just was. The only thing that was interesting to me was Jenna.
Okay.
And I did like Erin. I felt Erin jumped off the page.
Yeah, she did.
The rest, I honestly like couldn't care less about.
Yeah.
But now that like we're in a setting, and also like Brendan, I've been lucky enough to be able to see the 3rd episode. I feel like these 2 episodes, I know where I am.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm beginning to understand the women, and especially because you're just getting them alone. I think I really do enjoy them when you're just in a house and it's not cutting between different people and the in-laws and the kids and the kid with the
Sure.
It's focused, and you can really get to the core of like what makes them tick.
Yeah. I mean, Erin hosting all these women, it's magical. Like
that house is beautiful.
It's beautiful, and all the women shitting on it left and right. Shitting on it to the extent that they need to bring toilet paper to shit on it.
But aren't they doing that because they're doing Housewives?
So I came up with a theory that Sai, to the most extent, and then Uba to some extent, are putting on a show.
Yeah.
But like Uba's show, I want to watch. Sai, I'm like, you are putting on a show.
Uba's show is lighthearted.
Yeah.
Sai's show is coming with the side of like a little more snark and bite.
Yeah. In my ranking, I have those two. And then I feel like Jessel and Jenna are just being like genuine, awful people's not the right word, but like difficult people.
They're just very particular in their own ways. That's actual quirk to their actual personality and not like put on.
Why was Jessel cast?
I'm glad she was.
Really?
I think she fits in. She's a type of housewife we haven't seen before.
Yeah.
She's causing conflict accidentally because of her own quirks, and her apartment's beautiful.
I mean, the like
Jessel.
Jessel.
Okay. Just like really. Okay.
No, running around in that heinous lingerie, like throwing a fit. I was laughing and laughing. It was so ill-fitting. And I saw the picture of like a model wearing it. Like these are two different outfits. And then how mean she was being about it to Jenna. And Jenna's just like making her face. I'm like actually crying thinking about it.
Oh my God.
I don't know. Uba, provisions, leaving the house to go to provisions.
First of all, they must have known that it was closed. There's no way provisions is like, whatever, if you want to pay like $10 for a bottle of water. It's a health food store.
Yeah.
It's a small market. There's no way they're obviously filming during a weekday. They don't film on the weekends.
Yeah.
It's not open at 3:00 on a Wednesday or Tuesday or a Wednesday in November.
Yeah, I even
we know this.
I googled it today, and it's summertime, and it closes at 6 p.m. So it's like,
what? Uba and her compass at dinner, wanting to sit at True North. I don't know.
I want to get your take on the stealing of the
coconut cream.
Yeah, I felt like you'd have strong thoughts on that.
Oh, I mean, I do think this was like a little antic-y, but like I don't know, for some reason, like with her, like I'm like along for the ride. Like if Sai did it, I think I would have been annoyed for some reason because like Sai's not selling it.
Uba's got like this charisma where she can get away with things. I feel.
Yeah. Like the way she just like jumped in there and was like hugging the chefs was charming to me a little bit.
You know, we've been to Topping Rose quite a few times.
Oh yeah.
In our previous life.
Yeah, in our previous life. But I'm like seeing it in a new light now, you know?
I want to say something about the reboots as they continue to reboot.
Yeah.
I think it would have been a smart move just in sort of like looking to the future.
Oh.
Lose the taglines.
Oh, okay.
What are they additive?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're agreeing, or they're additive?
No, yeah, they're additive.
Oh,
The, like the Bryn one, it's just like something stupid.
but they're so. First of all, the women they're not even allowed to choose their own tagline.
I know.
Yeah.
And the producers or whoever is doing it, they can't even write decent ones.
Yeah.
It just adds like a little bit of camp. Like this could be like a more, like this version of RHONY could be like a little bit more of a serious show and like a little too sleek. And this adds like a little bit of camp that I think like brings us in a little bit.
Brings us down to earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other question people are asking is, had they not called this The Real House, had they not called this RHONY, and if this was like a Real Girlfriends of Paris, would anybody be watching?
Well, as the two people who watch Real Girlfriends of Paris, I hope so.
I hope people would have been watching. I don't know. I mean, I do think the Jenna Lyons
that cements it
Marquee
as a RHONY. Yeah.
was like.
Can I make a prediction?
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I'm like. I just want to get all these thoughts.
No, I love
out.
it. Yeah.
I predict possibly as soon as next year. I think Lindsay Hubbard is going to join the team.
Oh, yeah.
Well, she is a peer of Bryn and Aaron.
I think SummerHouse is going to shut down, and I think she's going to be the first one to jump.
Oh my God. That would be so monumental.
It
Like
would
New York
be-
City?
Like New York City.
It would be unbelievable.
Would love to see it. What did you think about the caviar and the Pringles and the spread that Aaron put out? And do you think it was enough of a spread for this time? Because there's been a great debate.
Okay.
They're arriving around 4 p.m.
And we're going to dinner.
Dinner's at 7 p.m.
I could have used a little crudité.
There
I think there was some.
There was
There
a little
was.
crudité.
I saw like a woman like massaging a broccoli head.
And like a carrot.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I don't think we need a full like
Burger.
spread.
I don't think we need sliders.
But I think like some like hummus, a pita chip, like chips and salsa.
well, there were chips and the caviar was on it.
Yeah, sure. But like something a little bit, because caviar is obviously not for everyone.
A little
No,
hummus.
these chic women, it's for everyone.
Well, no, it's three of them don't like it.
3 of them don't
yeah.
like it. Yeah.
3 out of the 5.
I can't believe Bryn's not here, and it does not feel empty. The room.
I really liked Bryn in the
Yeah.
premiere. She's actually one that's jumping off the page.
Yeah. Episode
I'm
1, yeah.
enjoying her.
Yeah.
There's some that I'm not enjoying, like Jess will like it. Like
Sure.
She really, I just don't care for. Bryn I really liked, but I also didn't really notice she wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like a lot of times, especially like during the COVID seasons, we'd be in a room of just a few women, and I'd be like, you'd hear the echoes in the room.
Yeah.
But this felt like a full room, you know. Okay.
Oh wait, Jenna going home.
Oh, Jenna going home.
Can I tell you, if my house was, we don't see the thing is we don't know where Jenna's house is.
Okay.
She said like 15 minutes, I think.
God, I want to know where her house. I believe I've spent the week.
We
looking.
know you want to
Yeah.
know.
It's not for lack of trying. It's not out there. It's not out there. But I would have gone home to. I want to sleep in my bed too.
Yeah, I mean, if your bed's there in close proximity, sure. But like, we're filming a show. Like, you gotta like bite the bullet.
And like
Bring your pillow if you need something like from home. you
her
know?
sneaking out too. I mean, I do like that Aaron went from like when Jenna was walking in the next morning being like, I'm kind of mad. Maybe that was in the preview for next week's episode.
There was like a 6-minute preview.
Yeah. But then like, I feel like they figure it out.
Back to Jessel for just one moment. They showed pictures of Jessel and her husband from 2013.
Oh.
And she looked like 22 years old there. Like, didn't the pictures look like they were from college or something? Like, that was very jarring to me. Like, I feel like a picture of me from like 2013 wouldn't look like that crazily different.
Yeah, a little different. You just posted one from 2013.
I did. You're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not an expert on postpartum and all of that.
Oh, yeah.
But like to like be like, you need to be fucking your man. Like after she went through like a difficult IVF experience
Well,
and like
that IVF plus C-section, which like
Yeah.
C-section like takes more time to recover from like a vaginal birth.
yeah.
Yeah.
I just was like, leave her alone.
It reminded me a little bit, not to go back to it, we talked about on Just Like That in the pre-show, which if you're not listening, you really should subscribe.
You're only getting half the story.
You're only getting half the story, and it really, truly is one of the highlights of my week as a consumer of the product.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Thank you.
In and Just Like That this week, Charlotte, it's like she just broke up with Che. I'm talking about Miranda.
Miranda.
Yeah.
Charlotte pressuring Miranda to like pick sexuality and like move on. Where's your next woman?
Yeah.
But
Was
that's
crazy.
That's Charlotte's
that's so Charlotte though.
I know.
Yeah.
But that was very this. To me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed though.
Why don't we wrap up New York and enjoy Crappie Hour? Crappie half hour, actually.
Yes.
Which is like kind of jarring. I'm sitting down and then it's like over in a few minutes.
And then you're standing up.
And then I'm standing up.
We're truly in like 4 separate events in this episode, and it's only 30 minutes long. It's
22 minutes.
Yeah, 22 minutes. But I really enjoyed it.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
If I ever have like an injury, I want Luann as my nurse.
Oh my God,
yeah.
springing into action.
Twice.
Oh, 2 times in 22 minutes.
I may be completely insane, but I find Luann to be very calming. To me, she's a calming Am I like nuts?
No.
I think Luann is very everything in this franchise. Like she is very calming, very nursing,
very sexy, very chic,
very chic, very funny.
Very can get down and grab the crappie from the lake.
She can grab the crappie.
That's what they're called, right?
I think they're like crappies or something,
okay.
but it's like crappie. But we're gonna have crappie hour in the lawn.
I really enjoyed. I like when somebody takes an empty space and like gets it together. So like them like putting down like that rug and like some throw pillows.
It was like looking so shitty, but then once everyone arrived, it actually looked halfway decent.
I think also a big thing about this kind of situation is like lighting. And so there was like, I think there was like some string lights. Add some string lights anywhere.
There you go.
Gorgeous. It's a wedding.
Please. Okay. We have like a bunch of callbacks. We have like interns not getting paid. We have a Harry Dubin callback this episode.
His boxers, yeah.
Oh my god, when just like there's so many like quick little moments that are nothing. When Sonja's on her phone and she's like, "Oh, I gotta post this liposuction thing, or I'm not gonna get paid."
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I shouldn't. I'm gonna fucking say. Maybe we can cut it out.
Oh, okay.
So okay, that's my ex's company. My ex
is a shout out to my ex.
My ex is the VP of sales of that company because she mentioned it. She mentioned it under her breath when she was on Watch What Happens Live.
Oh my god!
And I heard it because it's like hearing.
Yeah, of
like,
course. Yeah.
I lived with this company.
Wow, mention it all.
Wow.
It's up to you. You tell me if you want me to cut it out.
Will it get me another follower?
That's so Bethenny.
I'll just sell my life story. I'll just sell myself.
The testicle festival.
Oh,
I just said it like her. I didn't even mean to say it like her, like Son, but it just like comes out that way.
Yeah. Would you eat a testicle?
No.
I mean, I was like gagging watching, but I was like watching with my coffee, which is like not like the time to be like considering the testicle.
Not the palate.
Yeah. You don't want
taste
to
palate.
You don't want to pair it with a coffee either.
No, you pair it with like a cold beer, I think.
Yeah, I think the beer would help. I think like a dipping sauce would help.
What kind of dipping sauce? Oh, like a chipotle mayo.
A buffalo.
Ooh. Ew, buffalo testicles. I mean, that actually sounds good.
Does it?
I mean, like they were saying, all fried food kind of tastes the same at the end of the
chicken
day.
nugget adjacent, right? I don't know. Wow. When
Chicken nugget adjacent.
When Sonja said, "I thought you girls were doing a wet t-shirt contest," and the woman responds, "This is my niece." There's like it is a phone show, but like if you're looking at your phone, you could easily miss like 10
So
things.
much,
in the
yeah.
episode. High tea. I can't. How do they fit so many scenes this episode?
I know, the 4 good scenes.
The high tea.
And like
I loved that.
Oh my god.
the moment that, what was the kid's name?
Oh my
Like
god.
not Alec, but like the waiter that they zoned in on because they knew. Yeah.
Levi, maybe? Was that his name? I don't know. And then he comes and performs. King. Wow. But then the contortionist.
Getting stuck.
Oh my god. Was that just like a trick?
I couldn't tell if like that was part of the bit or.
I think it was a bit.
But he looked a little like.
Luann could not pop a thing back into.
No, she could.
She can do anything.
She can't do anything. I love her.
Wow, Crappie.
Yeah, Crappie, I mean, we don't need to stay on it too much just because it's like not that deep, but it's good. Mm-hmm. The lake's not that deep.
It's good. It's good. Okay, Jess. We're going to go into the waters of Orange County, which is a show you're not super familiar with.
I've seen very few frames. I've seen a couple frames of Orange County in my day.
Yeah.
Just 2 frames of Orange. I wonder what those frames are. What's your like point of reference before going in?
Like, what would you say, like, what was an iconic Orange County moment?
I know about the family van.
Oh, of course, everyone knows.
And I know that Tamara Judge is hot.
Yeah, she is.
And I love them both on Dorinda's Haunted
Mansion.
the House of Horrors. So I was into this episode. I honestly fast forwarded through everything.
Yeah.
I could not sit through it. I can't sit through these women.
Yeah.
But when you bring, I'm so happy I'm here for the return of Vicky.
Yes.
The original music. I got chills, and I hate this show.
You got chills as a hater. I love it. Wow. Yeah. No. Let's talk about the Vicky, even though it's end of episode, but like.
This is what it's about.
This is what it's about.
That's why we're here.
What it's about. So she is coming back as a caricature of herself, and I'm not mad about it.
It's a little. I think it's like the right flavor in terms of a little tail between the legs.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
what is the problem that they won't bring her back full time?
So
they might eventually.
When they demoted her to friend of, which was now several years ago, she kind of had a major meltdown at the reunion where she was like on a tirade, yelling at producers, yelling at everyone.
Like, this is my show.
This is my show, and like screaming at the top of her lungs. And I assume that might have something to do with it. And then I think she left the show. She was like, I'm never going to return. And then I think the Ultimate Girls Trip opened the door to her being included more on Bravo. And I think she likes being relevant.
And she did another rugged.
Why was she fired to begin with?
The show is getting stale.
Okay. Probably, I'm sure paycheck as well.
Yeah.
So like if you're being paid the most and like bringing the show down, it's like two wrongs are not making it right there.
She is like one of the more stubborn housewives to ever exist, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it just becomes difficult and it not worth it. And if you can like try to recast with more favorable people, then they do that.
And the vibe she was bringing to this was like, I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Not even concerned about her friend Shannon when Shannon runs off to Video Village.
Okay.
The little like
and then, what she said, and then there was one. Okay, the return of Kennedy. So you do watch Beverly Hills,
Of course.
so you know Kennedy,
The daughter
from,
of, yes.
from season 1,
Of course.
Kennedy's Tea Party, and here we are, 12 years later.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I interviewed, oh my God, why is her name escaping me?
Taylor
Armstrong.
Taylor. I interviewed Taylor before she was cast on Girls Trip.
Mm-hmm.
And I could never release the video because she was doing it like in her closet and she looked like a hostage victim. Like it was not helping the case of like my life is like I'm like breaking out of my
Taylor's next chapter.
It was not giving Taylor's next chapter.
Yeah.
It is interesting the places people podcast from.
So yeah, I think that actually kind of speaks to like, I don't think she is in great control of her image during this return to television.
Yeah.
Like she clearly doesn't really have like a team around her, like guiding her and coaching her. We're kind of just like going with the flow.
She's just going with the flow. I think
she's just a friend of. How would she have a team?
Yeah.
To be honest, like the fact that she had her daughter on this episode, I was kind of like, why are you a friend of? Like you are showing your life.
And she's really in the mix. Like she's at most of the filmings.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I think maybe she just like when they cast her, they announced it as a friend of thing and they just like went with it.
Yeah.
It was interesting them pulling the Beverly Hills footage though for like our intro back to Kennedy, and then we got the other Beverly Hills footage about the cotton candy moment.
Yeah.
Okay, this is when I say something. There's no way, like that is not that iconic of a moment. This is what I want to say. The OC women have no idea what she's talking about.
Yeah. There must be a moment like right after she said that where she has to explain what she's talking about.
I think a producer told her to say that.
Yeah.
I don't even think she remembers that.
And then they showed the video of it, and then there's like Mauricio looking kind of creepy.
I noticed that as well.
Yeah.
Well, she was with Jen with two N's who like who might not really even like know the full history of like all the shows despite being like a fan of Tamara's.
Yeah.
and Shannon, who I don't think pays close attention to the pantheon.
I think only really cares about herself, but that's why we love her.
Yeah, that's why we love her. Wow. Okay, we had Gina with the return of Kelly Dodd's twin.
Yes, so Gina's ex-husband, Matt, is dating a Kelly Dodd look-alike, which is wild. Like, they look...
Truly recast.
Yes.
We got Emily shit-stirring, like, pinning... Okay, so Shannon talks negatively about her relationship with John Jansen to Heather off camera.
Right.
Heather off camera... Right? Off camera. Mentions it to Emily.
Yeah.
Now, Emily, on camera, is bringing up to Tamara that Heather's being a bad friend because she's talking about Shannon's relationship troubles and blah, blah, blah. But, like, the bad friend is you for bringing it onto our television screens.
Yeah. This will be an interesting reunion conversation because it's like Shannon will be team Tamara and Emily here. I just know it.
But Heather would be the right person.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't know.
Can't wait to see how that plays out. So we had that big like slip and slide pool party with like everyone gets to bring a friend too.
Yeah, and like all the blondes are bringing a brunette and all the brunettes are bringing a blonde, which is fun. Diversity in OC.
Yeah, that's our diversity. We get to meet like the third member of Tres Amigos 2.0, Tamara, Jen,
and other Heather.
And that like other Heather sit down with Jen where like women just like kept piling on. It felt like that one Kylie Minogue video where like
all the
where like everyone like forms into like a big pyramid. Like
yeah,
we were doing like all the lovers cosplay there.
Great tune.
It really was. It really, really was wild because like the women who were actually full time on the show were looking at the people who aren't on the show, being
get off.
There's cameras on them. We need to get in there."
But it almost felt like we can't have like there was like one brunette who was like really sitting like at the center.
Yeah, and it's like, get out of here.
Who are you? Get out of here. You have nothing to do with us. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, any other thoughts about Vicky, Jess?
I love her. I want to see more of her.
I think Tamara revealed 5 episodes we're gonna get with Vicky.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Bravo was posting like teasers of an interview that Tamara did where Tamara was saying like, I think she should come back next season. So for Bravo to post that interview, who knows?
So also, Vicky's not a friend.
No, she's just a guest.
But she had a confessional.
Yeah.
Guests don't get confessionals typically. Like a Camille will get a confessional occasionally as a guest.
Elise Slane, she
was a friend of.
I don't know if she was ever officially a friend of.
I think she was.
I don't know.
I think they just didn't do a photo shoot for her, but I think she was a friend of.
Okay. Let's ask Bravo.
Could be wrong.
Wow. Remember Bethenny and Jill mentioned Elise Slane?
Oh, yes.
And Elise Slane was there in the beginning.
Elise Slane was part of their like second ever meeting. Oh my God. Everyone Google Elise Slane, page 6.
No. like the
protest that happened outside of her
apartment.
Oh, of course.
Also, the only time I've ever purchased a cameo was Elise Slane for the fans of this podcast.
You were inspired by the protests.
Shut up. And that's why Come Through Queen fans are known as you people.
Okay. We have, as we do every week, a Freak of the Week and the One True Queen.
And because Jess is the guest, we're going to give her the Freak of the Week.
Well, no.
We're going to give her we're going to give the honor. Could you imagine?
Oh my God.
No, we're going to give her the honors to do the Freak of the Week. To name the Freak of the Week. Naming rights.
After all the work you put in tonight. Wow.
Oh my God. Okay, my pick for Freak of the Week is the caller on Radio Andy, Amy from Austin, who got Andy to admit that he would like to, quote, bang the lights out of Matt Rodgers.
So this was a follow-up call after earlier the week.
Brendan, you take it from here.
Amy from Austin.
It started, I think, Tuesday night on. So Matt has been hosting Reality Checked, which is Amy Phillips' old a serious show, and they're doing like guest weeks.
Yeah.
And this woman called in and was asking Matt, like, why aren't him and Andy an item? And she kept on pushing, yada, yada, yada. And then she was like, you know what I'm going to do? Tomorrow morning when I'm listening to Andy Cohen Live, I'm going to call in. And so she did. And it was just like, both Matt and Andy had kind of the same vibe. They were like, oh, yeah, we were maybe going to go on a date, like, at one point, but, like, someone got COVID and it just never happened. Then, like, Matt was a guest on Watch What Happens Live, and, like, the vibes were off. And then, like, now, apparently Matt and Andy are, like, entering into certain business ventures together potentially. So it wouldn't even be, like, possible. But this woman just kept pushing. And then did she call into Reality Checked that night too? Did she do 3 calls?
She didn't call in. The producer played all of that material for Matt to react off of. Oh my God. And Matt was loving it.
Oh my God. I mean, the way she's saying it, she wants it as if like they're going to walk down the aisle together. And like, if anything, I feel like it would be like a date and a bang.
That's exactly what Andy was getting at when he like,
he said that he thinks they're on the same page.
Yeah. And he said like, if I saw him like walking down the dock, which I assumed he was talking about Fire Island.
He said if you saw him on the boardwalk. In fact, at one point, I think he said if I saw him in the meat rack. Somebody mentioned the meat rack.
Oh, John Hill mentioned the meat rack.
Well,
and Andy was like, oh, I would never be in the meat rack.
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it just was like, it was very much to me like, I have 2 gay friends. They should date.
I want to like push the 2 Ken dolls together and make them kiss.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like that analogy that it's like, at a wedding, like when you meet the gay cousin, and it's like, are you gonna start a life together? Yeah. Not your own cousin.
Yeah. I love Brendan like stumbling like the moments during this back half. Well, okay, one true queen.
This is a you, Dan.
This
moment.
is a me. This is a me. This is also a you.
This is a me. Yeah.
This is a you. Okay, we got 2 ads, and like we love ads, right?
Capitalism, baby.
We got a haunted mansion ad starring 3 people on their off season. Mm-hmm. We got Giselle Bryant.
Yes, for me.
For you. We got Dorit for me.
For you.
We got Lisa Barlow for both of us.
Sure.
And like I gotta say, was this Lisa Barlow's first on-screen SponCon, like on Bravo? I don't recall seeing her.
Maybe.
I don't really recall seeing like a lot of the Salt Lake City girls.
Maybe, but I think like she's not the moment in this.
Okay.
The moment is Dorit's acting.
The Dorit's acting, great actress, but also like acting across her close friend Jamie.
Yes.
Of Jamie Lee Curtis fame, which is like perfect.
Well, yeah, that's the chef kiss. It's like
that's amazing.
The Haunted Mansion is starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. So that was great. But I really do got to give it to Lisa Barlow. I thought she like really lit up the screen. And speaking of Lisa Barlow lighting up the screen, like it was Taco Bell, I think, on Twitter where like, remember when you were scrolling and like every tweet was Lisa Barlow Taco Bell and like everyone was tweeting about that?
I thought it's Ben Wendy's.
Oh, was it? It might have been Wendy's too. Okay, but like we got a new Wendy's campaign that launched this week where it's just like this like psychotic montage of like, I love it. Oh my God, I love it. And like Alex was playing it while we were driving down from Maine. And I was like, it was hard to keep the eyes on the road, really.
Yeah.
Because it's like the siren's call, like in Greek mythology, like me crashing into the rocks.
And it almost feels like a callback to You Gotta Holla at Me.
Oh my God, yes.
Feisty Frank, Watch What Happens Live original starring Heather Thompson.
Yes. Wow. So you gotta love us being sold stuff.
Wow, us shilling for brands who aren't paying us.
Well, let's shill for our friend Jess.
Guys,
You got 2 podcasts to listen to. You got Hot Takes and Deep Dives, and you've got the podcast of the summer, Finding Fire Island.
Maybe the year.
Maybe
Oh
the
my
year.
God.
Oh my God. Yes.
Wow.
And it's not too late to catch up because we still got like live episodes dropping coming up.
There'll be 8 proper episodes and just finished putting the finishing touches on the bonus.
Ooh,
Yes.
So that is long. I thought originally, I was like, I don't know if we have enough material. It's like a solid 26 minutes.
Oh,
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah,
And,
like there's stuff. It's
And true Hot Takes and Deep Dives heads know that certain moments from that podcast have appeared in Finding Fire Island. I caught the Lady Bunny moment today.
yes.
So where can we find you online?
JessXNYC on Instagram.
Yeah.
YouTube too.
YouTube.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
can throw in Hot Takes and Deep Dives, and all my interviews are there.
Love it. Thank you so much for
This
joining
was a
us.
blast.
Oh my God. Love having you here. And as always, go to comethroughqueen.com for links to everything. Patreon. Our pre-show is jam-packed.
Please sign up for the Patreon.
Please. You also have a bonus episode. I think we forgot to mention this earlier. There's a bonus episode. We are opening the vault for a recap of the Dinner Party from Hell.
Yes.
Wow. So that's going to be an extra little special treat for you there. And just like, comment, subscribe, heart, share, retweet.
Love us, please retweet.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
I wanna see ya come through, Queen.